My father was a caver, so I got into caving because my father said, "Come on boy, I'm going to show you some of these local sites one of these days." So at the age of 10, he took me up onto the mountain here behind our house, and yeah, I was hooked from the very beginning. It was an exciting world where that I just felt completely at one with. And so from the age of 10, very quickly I became a member of Hereford Caving Club, and then my interest sort of expanded, and by the age of 13 I'd been down to the Mendip Hills caving, and 14 and 15 I'd been taken to Yorkshire caving, and then I joined another caving club, South Wales Caving Club, where I started meeting some incredible people who were not only cavers and explorers, but they were, some of them, a few of them, were also cave divers. And basically what these people were doing to me was absolutely phenomenal, and they were pointing out places that had never yet been looked at, not explored at all, and I'm thinking, I can do that. I just need to become a cave diver. So I went to university in 1970, and there in those days the various clubs were well supported by the universities. I had a free grant to go to university, free grant, absolutely fantastic. So instead of buying books, I went out and bought a diving regulator. I joined the Sabaqua Club and trained for virtually nothing to become a diver. Obviously the divers there thought, well, he's going to become a sea diver like us. But I had no interest in that at all. All I wanted to do was go away and explore these local caves, because there was a phenomenal amount still waiting to be discovered. And so that's how it all started. From caving, I could see that there was vast potential for exploration here in South Wales, but also everywhere else in Britain and further afield. I've always been motivated by going somewhere new, by the lure of original exploration. Right from the beginning I could see that the prospects here on the mountain behind us, overlooking Crickhowell in the Esk Valley, the prospects there were miles and miles of new cave. When I was 16, I found a dry cave up on top of the mountain, which was extended to over half a mile long. But when I was a cave diver, well, I was finding stuff just, I won't say every week, but certainly finding new cave every fortnight. There were just so many places to go and explore. So up on the mountain up here, I found over a mile of passage beyond dives. And yes, I've been very privileged to be in the right place at the right time. And so in 1985, 1986, I was lucky enough to join caves up at one end of the mountain through to the resurgence where the water comes out of the ground in the Clydach Gorge at the other side of the mountain. But there are situations like this that have led me on into places in Derbyshire, in Yorkshire, down in Somerset, where I was lucky enough in 1977 and 1982 to establish depth records at the furthest point in the cave. The aim, I use the word depth record, but it wasn't depth record that I was looking for. It was the prospect of new dry cave beyond flooded sections. And that's what's always lured me into the world of cave diving. The prospect not of diving, but of original exploration, both below and hopefully beyond the flooded sections. Every year I've managed to find a project that now still, even in advancing years, and even in 2016, 2017, I'm still finding original new cave. It takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of determination and dedication to back that research up. But if you are determined enough, there are still good, exciting projects out there to bring people like myself to the cutting edge of the sport. How did the book come about? Well, just listening to the stories of my friends in South Wales Caving Club, at our club headquarters in the Swansea Valley. They were diving through a sump, not a very long sump by today's standards, so 60, 70 metres long, and then getting out of the water and becoming cavers again. And they were exploring mile after mile of virgin passage, out on a limb, beyond a dive. And on one occasion, the divers were returning through an unstable part of the cave, en route back to the dive, and they were passing through these unstable boulders when there was a catastrophic collapse. And one of the guys, Charles George, who's still around today, had tons of boulders fall in and around him. It sounds quite incredible how anybody could possibly survive that. But he was squashed down and expelled from the bottom of the boulder pile, pushed down into a lower chamber. He was able to get out, but these stories were clearly, it was a miraculous escape. There was no question about that, and everybody else who was on that trip with him that day viewed the situation as a miracle. So I'm thinking to myself, God, there's stories like this, and there's other stories like this. It really needs writing about. And so, while I was at university in 1973, 1974, I started to compile this book. And I thought, well, the darkness beckons. It does. The mystery, these mysterious places deep underground that no one has seen before, the exploits, the sheer incredible ingenuity that cavers bring to bear to find these places is a story well worth listening to and reading about and now looking at. So yeah, the book came about directly as a result of the inspiration I received from others in my caving club and in other caving clubs across the British Isles. So I was totally fired up and enthused by the idea of writing this book, The Darkness Beckons. So the manuscript was prepared by it's 1975, 1976, so I sent it around various publishing houses to be completely rebuffed. And one day, the manuscript was sent to Ken Wilson of Diadem Books, and Ken just took it on board. He was completely taken, hook, line and sinker, and thereafter he just, well, he was an inspiration towards the final production of the book in 1980. Well, I've had some fantastic times over the years, and I've found many, many miles of cave. I've been very privileged to make the very first scuba cave dive in the whole of China back in 1985. The year before, 1984, I made the first cave dive and found a kilometre of cave in Borneo, the first time that anybody dived there. But the real memorable event, the most significant explorations in recent years have been in New Zealand, where over certainly 3 years in a row, from 12 to 15, I found a mile of cave on each occasion, beyond flooded sections. And when you're a long way out on a limb, as I was certainly on these New Zealand explorations, you have to be ever so careful what you do. I remember in one cave there called Old Cottage Cave, I'd passed 7 dives, and I'd found a section of dry cave. I was on my way back and I reached my diving equipment, and I just bent down to pick it up, and I had a spasm in my back. And you think, well, no one's going to come and get me, because I am the only cave diver in New Zealand at this point in time. The people on the surface know where I am, they know I'm a long way in, but I've told everybody not to call out the rescue for 24 hours, because my philosophy has always been that if I can get myself into a predicament, I am going to get myself out of that cave somewhat, one way or another. So I just sort of picked my diving equipment up, put it on, and just grimaced and made my way out. But as my friends in New Zealand would tell you, I couldn't do anything for the next 2 weeks. I was in a hell of a state, and it was 3 weeks before I went caving again. But having said that, on that same year, I broke into through a dive, a short dive, only 100 meters long. Got out to the far side and went exploring a dry cave, and I was really, absolutely gobsmackingly amazed to find this chamber, which was one of the most beautiful chambers, decorated with stalactites and stalagmites and helictites at every side. It was absolutely glorious. It was almost like a religious experience, wandering around this cavern, that yours is the very first light to penetrate. And the discovery of this chamber, Avalon, would be every cave diver's dream, you know, to get to somewhere that no one else knows about, and yours is the first light to shine there, sparkling on the crystals, and it's just absolutely unbelievable, beyond words. I spend a lot of time training people, but my main aim and aspiration, the real thing that drives me on is still exploration. So I have to think hard and weigh up what projects I can tackle that are the sort of projects that will deliver the goods, in other words, that I can successfully achieve. So I've got ongoing projects in Ireland, where I've got an open tunnel just waiting to go back to, 600-700 meters into a cave there. Last summer I had a really nice breakthrough in a cave in the south of France, in the department of Lot. Lovely warm water there, 13 degrees, and clear water, unlike the cold 7-8 degree water of Britain, or the murky water of Ireland. It's more like a pint of Guinness. So yeah, there are projects all the time in the offing, and yeah, I'm still doing my research, trying to find exactly what projects best suit my age and abilities, because there are projects around that people of my age, 66 now, can still tackle. So I count myself very lucky to be fit enough to do all this still.